Am I the a-hole for divorcing my husband over a racist joke his best friend's wife made? I'm Chinese-Japanese, 27F. Husband is 27M and white. Married 2 years but knew each other for about 10 years since university. His friends are 30-ish and white. It was important to him that I got along with these friends, so I really made the effort. All of us played games online together for months and met a couple of times. We went up to their house again a few months ago. His friend's wife comes down to greet us and immediately said my cats were going crazy today and speaking Chinese like a bunch of heinous noises meant to be Chinese, and I reacted by staring at her blankly. Everyone there was white except me. No one laughed. I truly think she wasn't even processing the fact I was Chinese. Normally, I would have said something immediately, but it was just so out of pocket and everyone was arriving to the party. A few moments later, she makes the same joke. Telling people her cats were crazy and speaking Chinese followed by just racist noises. I told my husband if he didn't say something after the party, then I would. He told me he would, and at the time I had no reason to doubt him. I also told him that I had no interest hanging out with them again. Racist jokes told so casually is alarming. It was literally dehumanizing to compare my language to cats howling. Making the joke once was cringe enough, but twice? That's intentional. You might ask me why I didn't tell them to stop hanging out entirely over this. He is best friends with her husband and generally doesn't interact with the wife except at parties. He just told me he couldn't choose his friend's wife. He didn't say anything to her about it for 3 months. The only reason he finally said something was when I first learned he was playing PUBG weekly in a 4-stack that included his friend and friend's wife. I brought up if she apologized for the joke and he got uncomfortable. Turns out he never talked to her about it and was playing games with the husband and her every week. I couldn't believe he didn't say anything to her about the joke and he admitted he now felt awkward bringing it up months after. It was our hugest fight because in the past, he has allowed his people-pleasing tendencies to allow people to walk not just over him, but over me as well. I left the house that night and he went to his friends to vent and finally talked to them about it. It has been about a month since, but I've lost so much trust in him. In another argument, he blurted out, "What do you want me to do? Cut out my friends and family?" I had never asked him for that. He is low contact with his family because they are explicitly racist. I told him that I would never ask him to annihilate his support systems for me. I knew he was just saying whatever in the heat of the moment, but the moment he suggested cutting out all the racist people in his life, I just felt relieved. I asked him why he would rather play PUBG with a racist over me and he said he didn't believe she was racist. She made a mistake. But she made the joke twice. So I'm divorcing him. He can't believe I'm divorcing him over a joke someone else made. He says he can't control his friends or their wives and that he knew she could be better. Edit. I truly don't disagree with anyone that I could have confronted her myself. Unfortunately, there were factors at the time that prevented me and this is how it played out. Given my husband told me he would talk to them, I had no reason to think I had to say something after the party. I didn't know it wasn't resolved. I trusted him. There are definitely other issues in the marriage than this and this was the final straw, but it usually revolves around how he handles situations when other people are involved or his struggles emotionally regulating when he's anxious. There is a trend of him prioritizing others over me and I can't believe he prioritized game nights over doing what he told me he was going to do. The only other time divorce was on the table was when we got a dog.
He got really angry and frustrated with the dog and I told him I'd take the dog and leave. To his credit, he got into therapy and medicated for that anxiety, but it was the first strain of many. It was a "I'm gonna talk to her if you don't" situation and he said he would, then didn't and played games with her for months. I'm more angry about that than the racist joke. So many people tell me I should have fought my own battle. But how could I when he told me he was gonna do it? There are some people arguing about whether the joke is racist at all and it simply is. It's one thing to say they were speaking Chinese, and it's another to imitate the noises. Not even gonna argue with people who don't see the racism. It is also so wild she made any comment about Chinese at all when I am the only person of color there. I knew his family had racist people in it before marrying him, but him being low contact was why I felt okay with it. I always keep in mind that he can choose his friends, but not his family. It just felt like this time he chose hanging out with his friends over speaking up for me. Thank you for your responses. I am headed to sleep, but I will consider marriage counseling over divorce. This was all a strange breach of trust that shouldn't have happened and seems to show me his priorities elsewhere. Seriously, Thank you guys. I cried a lot responding. I really felt more heard here than I felt by my husband. Edit. Adding a comment I wrote that I think sums up how I feel. Cutting out his friend group is ridiculous. I don't want that. I need to clarify he didn't go low contact with his family just for me. He has always clashed with them on religion and politics. I don't believe my husband to be racist, but he has enabled racists before, made excuses for them, and made me interact with them knowing they were racist. I expected him to talk to her when he said he would, not game with her for 3 months, and certainly not try to justify what she said as a mistake. I expected her to apologize, like a reasonable person, and then I can chalk her comment off to be a one-time racist faux pas by an otherwise well-meaning person. But instead, my husband just never confronted her, and if he would lie over something honestly this benign, then there's a myriad of things he will lie to me about in the future. Edit. Post is 10h old now. I didn't expect this to get so many upvotes. It's my first time making an AITA post and not just reading one. What a wild comment section. Lots of blatant racists in this thread that are far more racist than friend's wife. I got a lot of support that I needed to hear. Thank you to everyone who took time to write, and thank you to those of you in the comments proactively. I can't really reply anymore because it is a lot. I kinda want to argue that all the people who say YTA for wanting a divorce and my husband is better off without me. Shouldn't you vote NTA because the divorce is just and thus saving us both time and emotional effort? Haha. No, this is not AI generated. I am autistic and I can't really prove it to you, but maybe the fact I spent like 10 hours not sleeping and just responding BC I am weak and human and wanted validation might. I also admit I did focus on the divorce part for engagement and because it is where I feel like I am the asshole. The only part not true about the post is the timeline. It's actually much more complicated and stupid than just 3 months. When the post started taking off like crazy, I went ahead and messaged friend's wife BC. I knew they were Redditors. Finally got it off my chest directly myself and heard from her instead of through my husband. I got an apology directly from her, and I just can't help but think about how ridiculous the situation has become. If my husband didn't lie for months that he would talk to her, I could have just done it myself as I wanted to and it would have resolved fine. He could have communicated that he couldn't do it instead of lying to me. He would for months. It was so silly, unnecessary, and immature. I might be immature too, but I didn't lie to him. I still don't know what hope I have for a relationship where my husband would rather lie for months to play games peacefully. But we'll see. Thanks everyone.